The Carolina Hurricanes are looking to bounce back from a really poor performance over the weekend in Anaheim tonight against the San Jose Sharks as their West Coast road trip continues. Find out what they need to do to beat the Sharks tonight in this episode of Locked On Hurricanes.
Your Locked On Hurricanes, your daily podcast on the Carolina Hurricanes. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hey there, Caniacs. I'm your host, Jared Ellis, and you're listening to Locked On Hurricanes on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And as always, thank you for making Locked On Hurricanes your first listen of this Tuesday morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you're listening. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. And today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Now, the Canes are in San Jose tonight to take on the Sharks as their West Coast road trip continues while the North Carolina State Fair is in town, clogging up traffic. And this is going to be an interesting game to see how the Hurricanes bounce back from that real ugly loss against the Ducks the other night. It was a 6-3 loss. They were down 3-0 at the end of the first. It was really sloppy, really ugly. Teuvo Teravainen did his best to get the Canes the win, or at least put them in the mix to at least push to win it. But unfortunately, aside from Martin Necas, not a whole lot was going on in that game. But there are definitely some changes that need to be made in this game for them to come away with the win. First and foremost, I talked about this in the recap of the game, as well as over on the Locked On NHL podcast the other day. And that is that Tony DeAngelo, he needs to come out of the lineup. He has been pretty bad to start out the season. A lot of the goals that the Hurricanes have allowed, you can trace those back to defensive lapses and mistakes that he has made. I don't put a whole lot of stock into the plus minus. But again, he has been rough. He's already a -3 on the season. I think that's kind of generous. And I think that really is only where it is because he does have 3 assists already. And then the pairing of him and Dmitry Orlov has also been really rough. It's a -10 on the season so far through these first 3 games. I think changing him out for Jalen Chatfield is going to be really key to the Hurricanes winning this game. Getting him out of the lineup. They have plenty of offensive weapons to where they don't necessarily need him in the lineup. I've said many times already, he's not going to be a first pairing defenseman. He is a third pairing defenseman on this team now. He's not going to play with Jacob Slavin on the first pairing. That is Brent Burns' spot. Tony, he ain't taking that. He is a third pairing defenseman. That is his ceiling for this team now, barring some kind of injury or something like that to someone else. And he has really not. It hasn't been pretty. Jalen Chatfield really needs to come in the lineup tonight. That is going to be very, very important for them tonight. And while we're talking about defense, a real big thing with this game tonight is just the whole team as a whole tightening up defensively. They've played really loose and really sloppy over these first 3 games. You can really look to that Anaheim game of just how rough of a start they had there. Again, Teuvo, he did what he could to give the team a push, but it just didn't happen. It just did not happen. And they have really got to tighten up and stop playing sloppy. And, with that comes playing the full 60 minutes as well. Because, we've seen, already this season, how they've played, only a couple periods of hockey, and they've really had to fight back to get those wins. And, they get comfortable and yet just slow to get started. Again, it is early in the season. This is only the 4th game. So things aren't going to be perfect. There's still going to be that off-season rust that guys are knocking off. So do keep that in mind. But yeah, it's they've got to play a full 60. They can't decide, oh, we're gonna start in the second period or anything like that. No, can't do that. And because San Jose, they're not going to contend for a Stanley Cup this year. They're not, but neither is Anaheim, and Anaheim beat the brakes off of you. So you can't. They cannot just decide to show up halfway through the game. Can't do that. Your goalies can only do so much, and that's another thing. They really got to support their freaking goalies. Right now, again, it is through only 3 games, so the stats aren't going to be like mid-season or anything like that. But Freddie, he's 2-0-0 on the season with 3.84 goals allowed and a .867 save percentage. And Auntie Ranta, he's 0-1-0 with 4.04 goals allowed and then an .826 save percentage. That's really rough. That is not like these guys. Again, it is very early in the season. This is the 4th game of the year. So, they're not, you don't have a whole lot, to really, factor in there. But man, like they have not been supporting them, and they can only do but so much. Again, off-season rust, that is going to be a thing there. But man, they're not supporting them. Their defense has just not been up to the standard where it usually is. So that's going to be important tonight. Is again, getting Tony DeAngelo out of the lineup and replacing him with Jalen Chatfield, tightening up. Stop playing sloppy, play a full 60 minutes, and support your freaking goalies. They can only do but so much. It is, it's been frustrating. It has been really frustrating because we know this team is better than this. We know it. Again, they are 2-1-0. They are, but these have not been, excellent games or anything like that. You had a good showing and opening night and whatnot, but it's still like it hasn't been great for the Hurricanes. You look to that LA game, they blew a 3-0 lead, ended up getting forced into a shootout, a 9-round shootout at that. Yes, you came away with the win. That's fantastic, but they've got to tighten up, and it's going to come with time. I know that, that, we all know that. These are early season issues that teams just have to work out, regardless of if it's the Hurricanes, if it's the Sharks, the Kings, the Ducks, the Lightning, whatever. Every team is going to have early season issues they have to work out. But some of these issues are issues that have been problems in the past. And that's what frustrates me the most about it. Again, the slow starts, the not supporting the goalies, Tony DeAngelo being a defensive liability. These are issues that we've dealt with in the past, and we're still dealing with them now. That's what makes it so frustrating. It's not like it's some new thing or whatever, but these are issues we've had, and that's what makes it so frustrating. They have got to tighten up on these things. They've got to. They can do that. I do think they can beat San Jose tonight, but if they come out the way they did against Anaheim, it's anybody's, I was about to say ball game, but anybody's hockey game. But it's a whole lot, that they really have to work on tonight to come away with that win. And there are definitely some key players for the Hurricanes to come away with the win tonight. And we will dive into those right after this quick break, folks. Now, folks, it is that time of the year. It's hockey season. If you're wanting to go to a game, Game Time has you covered. You shouldn't have to worry when buying tickets for your next big event. Game Time is the fast and easy way to buy tickets for all of the sports, music, comedy, and theater events near you, with killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their best price guarantee. Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying tickets. Now, folks, I've used Game Time in the past when me and a friend of mine, when we went to AEW Collision, and I absolutely loved using the Game Time app. It was super easy to use. Like I mentioned a second ago, you get to see the views from your seat. And we had fantastic seats looking straight at the ring in the lower bowl, looking at the ramp. It was awesome. And what are some of the things you can experience with the Game Time app? Last minute tickets, flash deals, zone deals. Tickets are easy to find. And like I said, you get to see the view. So you're not surprised by, like, oh, a pole in your way or some sort of obstructed view. That is awesome. And all in prices show you your total upfront so you know you're getting a great deal without a whole bunch of hidden fees. And buy tickets in seconds with just 2 taps. Game Time, again, has deals on tickets right up to the start of the event and even an hour after it starts. It's the best place to find last minute seats because sometimes you end up being off work and you didn't know, or plans canceling. You're like, oh, I want to go to this game. I want to go to this concert. Game Time has you covered. So find exclusive flash deals and sponsored deals on tickets for football, basketball, baseball, concerts, comedy, theater, and more. With zone deals, you pick the section and Game Time picks the seats for an average of an 18% saving. And with the Game Time guarantee, you'll always get the best price. If you find tickets in the same section and row for less, Game Time will credit you 100%, 110% of the difference. So not just 100%, 110% of the difference. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNHL. That is LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Now, folks, another thing I want to talk to you about is AG1. Folks that have been around the show for a long time, you guys have heard about AG1, but with a new season, you're going to have new listeners. So let me talk to you about it. The most important thing you can do is take care of yourself. And our next partner, AG1, is the daily foundational nutritional supplement that supports whole body health. I've used AG1 to help get my stomach issues in check, and it has really helped me. Again, AG1 is a foundational nutritional supplement that delivers comprehensive nutrients to support whole body health. AG1 replaces your multivitamin, probiotic, and more in a one simple drinkable habit, science-driven formulation of vitamins, probiotics, and whole food source nutrients. So not a whole bunch of poor quality ingredients. AG1 is taking care of you, and they are raising the standard for quality in the supplement category, and they help you build your health foundation first. And again, folks, AG1, they are really here to help you out. And if a comprehensive nutrition supplement is what you need from your supplement routine, then try AG1 and get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free AG1 travel packs. With your first purchase, go to drinkag1.com/NHL network. That's drinkag1.com/NHL network. Go check it out, folks. Now, key players for tonight's game. This is going to be really, really important. Teuvo Teravainen, he's my number one guy here. He has been off to a phenomenal start to his season. We've talked a lot about that. Even in that game, that ugly game against Anaheim, he still notched 2 goals, one of them being a power play goal. And I'm really looking at him to continue his momentum tonight. I think he can really bring a spark to the team to get them this win tonight and get them going back in the right direction. Get this ship course corrected. Again, he has been phenomenal to start out the season. He actually has the longest season opening goal streak by a Finnish player in NHL history. He has 4 goals through 3 games played. And he passed his former teammate, Erik Haula, who had 3 in 3 games played back in 2019. So I'm really looking at Teuvo tonight. Whether it be even strength, power play, penalty kill, whatever. I'm really looking at him to really spark this team and get them going in the right direction. Again, like I said, playing a full 60 minutes is going to be key for this game tonight. So I'd like to see him come out early on in this game and really get something going, whether whether it's scoring a goal or not, just being dangerous, create some dangerous chances to really get some momentum on the Hurricane side. Notching a goal, I'm not going to complain about that, of course, or assisting on another one because we know how good he is at that. He just, for whatever reason, hasn't done it yet this season. Again, 3 games played, so no big deal there. We know it's going to happen. But I'm really looking at him tonight to really spark this team and get some momentum going for them. And I mentioned the penalty kill. Sebastian Aho, he has been absolutely lethal on the penalty kill. The other night, he passed Eric Stahl on the franchise all-time list for shorthanded goals. He now has 17 in his career. So, and of course, he still has a super long career ahead of him. So he's going to continue to add to that total. And when the Hurricanes inevitably go on the penalty kill tonight, I'd like to see him continue that dangerous mentality or whatever, that he's had on the kill as of late. He's already had shorthanded goals this season. I'd like to see that continue. And not only did he pass Eric Stahl on that all-time list, he also has the most shorthanded points in franchise history: 17 goals, 7 assists with 24. He has the most shorthanded goals since 2016, 2017, again with 17. And then the second most shorthanded points since 2016, 2017, with only Brad Marchand having more with 14 goals, 15 assists, 29 total points. So I'd really like to see him continue to be a force on the penalty kill for the Hurricanes tonight. That's going to be really, really fun to see. I really hope he can continue that because, like in years past with some of these other issues that we've talked about, is how sometimes he can get off to a really slow start to start out the season. Really doesn't pick up to like mid-November or something, and he was better at that last year, and so far this year he has been a bit better. Has looked sloppy at times, but again, trying not to get too frustrated with that kind of stuff with these guys because it is early season. This is just the 4th game. There's going to be that rust. And, really looking at him to continue the momentum he started to start out the season. Then you also got guys like Brady Shea, Martin Natchez, looking at those guys as well because they've had really nice starts to the season also. Really want to see that go as well. Michael Bunting, he scored the Hurricanes' first goal of the season back in the home opener. I'd like to see him, really go out there and be a pest tonight as well. Should Brendan Lemieux notch into the lineup tonight, I'd like to see him be a pest as well. He notched his first goal of the season against LA, his former team, the other night. So these guys that they brought in to be pests, to get under other team skins, I want to see them do that tonight. I really do. If I think that's a big if D'Angelo is in the lineup also, I'd like to see that from him as well. Really get under San Jose's skin tonight. Get in their head early on and force them to make mistakes because the power play has shown signs of life this season so far, which is surprising because it was pretty bad last year. Whenever the game ended the other night in LA, these were the units they had or were rolling with. Things may get changed for tonight's game. Yeah, who knows? But power play 1 was Aho, Bunting, Jarvis, Natchez, and D'Angelo. Power play 2 was Drury, Kotkaniemi, Teravainen, Burns, and Orlov. And I'm really looking at those like, okay, they got something here with these. D'Angelo draws out of the lineup. That'll be interesting to see, who they potentially slot in there or move someone. Maybe you move Burns up to that first unit and put Shea on the second or Shea on the first. That could be how you do things there. But they appear to have something going with their power plays, and that's good. But again, D'Angelo slotting out of the lineup, I think that's going to be really important tonight because he's led to so many mistakes. And the Hurricanes, yes, they're really good on the penalty kill. They are. I talked about Sebastian Aho, and they're just good on the penalty kill pretty much year in and year out. But they cannot keep having a liability traffic cone out there like that. They can't do that. So they have a lot of good things going for them that they need to continue to build on, but there are definitely things they need to fix pretty fast before they just become a lingering problem as the season progresses. Again, it is still October. It is still only the fourth game of the season, so we're not freaking out. We're not. The fan base isn't on fire or anything like that. So these are just things I'm noticing pretty early on, like, hey, we've had these issues before. We need to go ahead and do something about them now. So come March, April, February, even though I know I totally put February at the end there, come down the stretch of the season, these aren't issues that we're still dealing with, or at least as much as we are right now. And then another thing worth mentioning is Jordan Stahl is 1 point shy of 400 points as a Carolina Hurricane. Would love to see him hit that tonight. You figure that's probably going to happen at some point over this road trip, but yeah, definitely want to see that happen. Let's get the captain that milestone. He's been here for, gosh, what is it now? 11, 12 years, something like that. It's been here forever. Yeah, let's see him get that milestone. I really want to see it. That'll be cool for him and cool for the fans, and especially if it's one that can come in a win as well. That's going to be absolutely fantastic. And really, he's another guy. Yeah, if he can notch that point, yeah, I want to see the captain have a big game. We know he still has it in him. I want to see that too. Really, yeah, after that Anaheim game, I mentioned how he said they were playing really loose and they couldn't do that. And I really want to see him hold the team accountable and them really tighten up uh, defensively and just their game as a whole, not give San Jose the opportunities that they were giving Anaheim the other night. They can do that. I think they'll be pretty well set for this game tonight. But we also do have some news about Brett Pesce and his potential update, and we will dive into that right after this quick break, folks. Now, folks, it is time for NHL season, and NFL season is in full swing as well. You got the MLB playoffs. There's so much going on right now, and you can snap into the NFL action this season with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. That's $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in on the action than right now. The app is so super easy to use. There's a wide range of betting options, including spreads, player props, over-unders, and much, much more. So visit fanduel.com/locked on to kick off the NFL season. That's fanduel.com/locked on, LOCKEDON, to kick off the NFL season. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL. Now, getting back to Brett Pesce, and before we dive into the contract extension stuff, the other night he did pass Justin Falk for third most games played by a defenseman since relocation with 560. So good on him for that. Love that for him. But earlier this morning, article came out from David Patagonia of Fourth Period, and talking about Brett Pesce and his contract extension and what he's looking for, what the Hurricanes are offering, and all that. This has been a big talk throughout the off season. We've speculated a lot on whether or not he would be a guy that gets traded or not, but it's looking like the Hurricanes do still want him long term. Again, this is all kind of speculative. We're not in those phone calls, emails, meetings, anything like that. And again, this comes from David Patagonia of the Fourth Period. The Hurricanes are still hoping to get Brett Pesce signed to a long-term extension, but evidently they're going to have to up their offer from what they had been offering over the summer. Pesce, again, is in the final year of his 6-year deal. He has a 15-team trade list as part of his contract, but the Canes aren't wanting to trade him, which I totally understand that. And they did, of course, have conversations with teams over the summer, and but nothing obviously happened there. And of course, this team is going to be a playoff team, so it's not like it's going to be a fire sale or anything like that. But when it comes to the negotiations, everything is still good there. In terms of the relationships between the Hurricanes, Pesci's agent. But over the summer, it looks like they were. Wanting to get a deal, worth in the 4 to 5 million range this season. And Pesci, he wants to stay in Raleigh, but he definitely wants a higher salary. He's looking evidently, closer to 7 million in the 6 to 8 year range. And yeah, I not surprised by that, honestly, especially when the Orlov deal happened. They're like, okay, you're bringing this guy in just shy of 8 million. I could see why Pesci would want more than, we'll just say 5 million. We'll say the high end of that, and I can totally understand why. Again, you bring in that guy, but you're not gonna. Again, Orlov, I'm so happy we got him. He was the best defenseman on the market. But man, Pesci's gonna see that, and that's gonna affect, what he's wanting in negotiations. So you look at all that, really not surprised. Um, and you continue to read through here. Yes, the cap is expected to jump about 4 to 5 million next summer, and then another increase anywhere from 2 to 5, more for the 2025-26 season as well. So you could like you see that like, okay, Pesci, he is worth the money. He's worth it, and I think that they could. I don't think there's really going to be anything done during the regular season. Maybe there is, maybe there's not. We've seen it before. But I honestly think, this is gonna be something we're really not gonna hear a whole lot about it, throughout the off season, unless something happens, unless an extension gets signed, unless a trade happens. We're really not gonna hear much about it. And I think it really won't be until the off season that we start to hear about the Pesci extension stuff more. And it wouldn't surprise me if they really do try to get something done before free agency opens up. But it was mentioned here in the article that they wouldn't be shocked to see Pesci test the free agent market to see what he can get. And I'm really, I would hate to see that happen, obviously. But it's also one, it wouldn't surprise me. Like, you got this cap going up the way it is, and you signed this guy, in Orlov, to almost $8 million a year, and over 2 years, like, come on, Pesci is worth the money. Okay, yeah, maybe you don't have to pay him 8 million or $8 million. Yes, you won't have to pay him that. Maybe you don't have to go to 7 million. Maybe you could, get him, to like 6.5, 6.75 or something, like a little bit of a hometown discount because he does want to stay here. And I understand, maybe not wanting to go super long with the term on this, but he's shown, like, he's got it in him, and I'm not super worried about that. And I honestly think they need to do it. I really do. I would say, give him that 6-year term that he's looking for, and try to get him, to the 6.5, 6.75 million. I would say that. And you can, because of the way the cap is going to be going up, we've seen it, with numerous contracts of how they structure the salary in certain ways, to accommodate for that. And we saw it with the Svetch extension. and kind of how the salary was a bit staggered and whatnot. Like they can do this, and I think they should sooner rather than later, because with that cap going up, other teams are going to be like, oh, hey, they're only offering you, we'll just say 6 million, but we'll offer you 7.5 because we got cap space to burn. I think they should really try to get this done as soon as possible. But again, I don't see it happening during the regular season. I don't expect us to hear much about it unless it is something that, like, all right, it's done, it's signed, plain and simple. Frankly, the same with Brady Shea as well. Obviously, we haven't heard as much about that one and his negotiations and all that. But same thing. Like, I'd rather get it done sooner rather than later. Again, I'm not totally opposed to, moving on from one of these guys. I'd much rather keep Brett Pesce over Brady Shea simply because, just what he brings to the team. And that's nothing against Brady Shea. He's been great for this team. He had a career year last year. And I'd love to be able to keep them both. We've seen already this season just how good those two play together. And I kind of had to eat my words on splitting them up, of putting Orlov there on that third pairing with Brett Pesce and moving Brady Shea down, because they've just been so good. And I've had to eat the words on that. So we'll see what happens there. But I definitely think they need to get something done. He does not need to enter free agency come July 1st. They need to get it done. Again, I think 6 years, that's fine. Sure. I know he'll be a bit on the older side when all things are said and done with that deal, but I think he's shown he's worth it. Yeah, you could maybe talk him down to like 6.5, 6.75. Maybe throw some incentives in there, or decent signing bonus or something like that. I think they can get it done, but ultimately we're just gonna have to wait and see on what happens with that extension. And what happens tonight against San Jose? It's obviously Canes after dark, so behave yourselves on Twitter or X or whatever social media you're going to be on tonight. Behave yourselves. Don't get too weird. But enjoy the game tonight, folks. Remember, it's still early in the season. If things don't go well for the Canes tonight, it's not the end of the world. But again, just have fun. Enjoy the game. Enjoy watching Brett Pesce play. Enjoy watching Brady Shea play. Teuvo Teravainen. Let's enjoy watching the captain get his 400th point as the Carolina Hurricane. I'm looking forward to this game tonight. I know you are as well. So make sure you're following along at LO_Hurricanes. Myself at Jared Ellis _96. And folks, let's go Canes. And like their new saying is this year, let's cause some chaos.